Hey there yogis, I'm Nicole. Welcome back to My Yoga Time. Thanks for joining me today. Today's yoga practice will strengthen and stretch the whole body, releasing tension, creating space in the body and clarity in the mind. Perfect way to begin your day. I will leave you in Shavasana at the end of the practice, so if you do enjoy the class, please do like and subscribe. It's the best way to support free yoga on YouTube. Let's begin. Starting in a seated position, we'll take a variation of our seated pigeon pose. So left leg is straight, bending your right knee and placing your right ankle above the left knee. Now, depending on knees and hips, this might be enough for you today. Otherwise, a little deeper if you bend your left leg. Now, the closer you bring the heel into the bottom, the deeper you're going to feel that in the outer left hip. And the lower you bring your right ankle, the more sensation you'll create as well. Now, I like to take a little movement here, a little rock from side to side, but if you prefer to hold it still, feel free to do so. Now let's take this moment to gently place the very tip of your tongue where the teeth meet the roof of the mouth. And you'll do your best to keep the tongue in this position for the entire class. It's another point of concentration to help you quieten the mind. So feeling a little space between the top and bottom teeth, jaw is relaxed, though we do gently tone the very back of your throat. It's a little constriction there, almost feels as though you're creating a direct, narrow channel for the breath to pass. Let's move on now, yogis. Straightening your left leg, bring your right foot down to the mat. We're taking an open twist, so right buttock is off the mat, sitting on your left leg only. Press the arm into the leg and look over your left shoulder. Be sure to deepen your breath. And come back to center. Option 1, change sides straight away. Otherwise, if you'd like a little hamstring stretch, let's take a hold of the ball of the foot, push the foot into the hand, pull the hands back into the foot. And this might be where you are today, or maybe you can straighten the leg a little more. Keeping the jaw relaxed. And let's lower down, changing sides. Coming in as deeply as feels comfortable for your body. Option to find that little bit of movement once again. So whenever we come into a pose, whichever part of the body has caught your awareness is where you're sending the breath. Where attention goes, energy flows. That's why it's important to focus on what you want to achieve in your day, not what you don't want. Let's progress open twist, straightening your right leg, sitting only on the right leg now, lifting left buttock off the mat, looking over your shoulder. And let's return to center. Option here to take that hamstring stretch. A little bit of resistance between the foot and the hands. So by doing this, you're actually starting to engage those hamstrings while you're stretching them. So it helps the leg not to feel like such a dead weight. And it's also a great way to rehabilitate any injuries there. And let's release, lower down. Rolling over the knees now, coming onto all fours. Taking hands under shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide, pinky fingers meeting the edges of the mat. Let's turn the eyes of the elbows to face forward. Press into the pads of the fingers and tuck your toes under. So we're going to take a little bit of core here. I want you to press into the pads of the fingers, and it's almost as like you're making little suction cups with your hands. So the middle part of the palm might lift up just a touch, but we're not clawing the fingers into the mat. We're pressing into the pads of the fingers. When you're ready, let's tuck the tailbone and just hover those knees above the floor. Try and squeeze the heels of the palms in towards one another and round the upper back so that you're creating a gentle bandha through the shoulders, the wrists. Well done. Lower down. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale to round the spine. Do one more. And this time as we round the spine, lift up those hips, downward facing dog. Hold here as you inhale. Gently press your chest towards your thighs. And then exhale, knees to the mat. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale to round. Downward facing dog. Holding it here this time. Let's lift the right leg. Option 1, keep the legs straight and the hips square. Option 2, lift up the right hip so you've stacked it on top of the left. Look under your right armpit and bend the knee. Keep your right foot flexed. Imagine you're trying to kick something away. So it's nice and active here. Breathing into the hip flexors. Well done. Inhale, straighten the leg, square the hips, lower the leg down. Option 1, knees to the mat. If you've got concerns with knees or hips. Option 2, cross the right leg in front of the left leg and then bring those knees down to the mat. So the legs are crossed. Take the feet a little bit wider. Let's inhale into your back bend. Exhale, rounding the spine, taking child's pose, either with the knees next to each other or legs crossed, rounding the back. Keeping the palms lifted just on those fingertips. And let's return to center. Curl the toes under. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale to round, downward facing dog. Uncross those legs. You might like to take a little walk out. And when you're ready, left leg up. Either staying there or stacking the hips, bending the knee. Continue to press into both hands evenly. And then straightening the legs, square the hips. Lower the left foot down, either next to the right or crossing in front. Knees to the mat. Untuck the toes. Inhale, back bend. Exhale to round, sit back. Take a spacious in-breath into the back side of the body. And let's come back up. Tuck the toes under, back bend as you inhale. Exhale to round, downward facing dog. Uncrossing those legs, give them a little walk out. And then we'll step it up to the top of the mat. Feet are hip width apart. Inhale halfway, the fingertips on the floor, hands to the knees if you need. Exhaling to bow. Coming up again, this time bring the arms with you. It's a little bit stronger in the back and in the core. Try to squeeze the heels in towards each other. From here, we'll fold forward and heart out the breath. Well done. Chair pose, Utkatasana, bend the knees, bring the arms up. Weight back into the heels. And all the way up. Well done. Inhale. Exhale. Swan dive. Half lift. Forward fold. Right leg back. Low lunge. Right knee to the mat. Inhale the arms up. So just a little tone here in the right buttock. Try and draw your left heel back and your right knee forward. Either stay here or for a very brief side bend, left hand takes the right wrist, lifting up out of the side waist and looking down towards your left hip. Inhale. And then come back to center. Right hand to the outside of the knee. Left hand behind you. Here is option 1. Option 2, a little stronger. Take the hands into prayer. So elbow hooks around the knee. Left palm is pressing down onto the right and try and slide it up. Option to pick up the back heel. Slight tuck of the chin. Deepen the breath. Let's release. Step it back into plank. Option 1, knees to the mat. Let's round the upper back. Bring the body forward. Exhale to lower, elbows to brush the ribs. When you come all the way down to the mat, untuck the toes, tailbone points down. Inhale, floating up the legs and the upper body, gently drawing the hands back. Exhale to lower. Inhaling to lift. Exhale to lower. Last one. Lifting up to hands and knees, returning to plank, rounding out the back before your downward facing dog. Let's step up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway up, fingers can stay down. Exhale to fold. Halfway up, bring the arms with you. Power out the breath. Chair pose, bend the knees. Weight back into the heels. And all the way up. Swan dive. Half lift. Forward fold, left leg back. Low lunge. Lifting arms up. Deepening the pose by deepening the breath. Right hand takes the left wrist. And back to center, finding your twist. Either hand staying on the low back and the outer knee, or hands to prayer, hooking the elbow around the knee. If you are lifting up your back knee, press into both feet now, as though you're trying to stretch the mat. Return to center, step it back, or chaturanga down to the mat. Either come up into your baby cobra, or if you'd like, you can just hover an inch above the floor, then roll over the toes for your upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. And let's step those feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale to fold. Reverse swan dive to come all the way up. And bring the hands to the heart center. So little balance pose next. If you have any concerns with your knees or your hips, option 1 is your chair pose. Just bend those knees, bring the weight back into the heels. Option 2, we're going to take eagle pose, Garudasana. So you can cross your left leg over the right. Now if your balance is tested and you've got a block close by, take it next to the right foot and rest your foot there. Otherwise, we're wrapping the foot around the calf muscle. Here we want the thighs to press together. Either hands can stay in prayer or you can bring the arms out. Then crossing right arm over the left, bending the elbows and bringing the forearms together. Gently pressing thighs and forearms. Option to sit a little deeper if that feels good for your body. Keeping the jaw relaxed. Let's unravel now, lifting up, hands to the hips, lift up the left knee, and then step it back as far as you comfortably can. Straighten your right leg, bend your left knee, hands to prayer, and then come back up. Make sure your right heel is intercepting the arch on your left foot. Press the feet away from one another, reaching forward, and then lower down, triangle pose, Trikonasana. So feel free to look down to the big toe, or up to the thumb. Either way, make sure you tuck in the chin and move the neck back so that you're supporting that heavy head. Keep pressing into both feet. Let's look down if you're not already. And take the left arm overhead, slight tuck of the tailbone, and then bend the knee lower down. Frame the foot. Rock back,
and step up to the top of the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale to fold. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Hands to the heart. Let's practice that on the other side. Either chair pose option 1, option 2 right leg lifts, crossing over the left. Either balancing on your block or wrapping the foot. Arms out. Left over right. And let's unravel the hips and shoulders, lifting up that right knee, stepping back. Bend the right knee. Let's lower down, get into those hips. And then come back to center, pressing into both feet, reaching forward, and then lower down. Be careful not to hyperextend this front knee. You can always bring a micro bend in or engage the quad and try and draw up that kneecap. Breathe into all 4 limbs. Looking down if you're not already, take the right arm overhead. One more breath into the side body. And then lower down, frame the foot. Step back into your downward facing dog. Your last one. You might like to haar out the breath once again. Let's come forward into plank. Option to lower the knees, round the upper back, bring the body forward. Chaturanga down to the mat. Inhale, little cobra. And then exhale to lower. Let's roll over onto your back. So let's take those feet as wide as the mat. Let the knees fall into touch. Hands on your belly. Just take a moment to feel the navel rise and fall with the ebb and flow of your breath. Be sure to take a little pause before you exhale. Let's bring the feet a little closer together now. Let the knees fall out, butterfly legs. Arms can float above the head if that feels comfortable for your shoulders. Otherwise, arms can stay by your side or hands on your belly. Take the arms down by your side now if they're not there already. From here, press the feet together and down into the mat, and then lift the hips up. So you're in a bridge variation with your butterfly legs. Inhale. And exhale to lower down. Bring the knees together. Option 1, if you have any concerns with your neck, then you can come into Shavasana straight away. Option 2, we'll take a fish pose. Hands underneath your bottom. Palms will face down towards the mat. Straighten the legs. Bring the elbows into the ribs. You should feel like your shoulders are crowding those ears. Press through the balls of the feet and then simply bend your elbows. All of the upper body weight is in your arms. Then allow the head to drop back. So there's no weight in the head. The crown of the head can lightly touch the floor, but all the weight is in your arms. To help clear the throat center, I encourage you to take 3 lion's breaths here. Inhale through the nose, and then haar out the breath, stick out the tongue. 2 more. Tucking the chin, lower down. Release the hands. And if you have the urge to hug the knees into the chest or take a twist, do so. Otherwise, coming to stillness. Tucking the shoulders under. Allowing the palms to face the ceiling. You might like to connect index finger and thumb for Chin Mudra. Forehead softening. Eyes closing down. Tongue and jaw relaxed. And take this moment to just be in your spacious body, quiet mind.